Well, thank you, Bob. Thanks to all of you. First, I just want to say, what a wonderful day. I know for all of you who are graduating today, whether you're here in this wonderful arena or watching somewhere else, this is a magical moment. It's a day that has required for you commitment, hard work, persistence, and patience. Before we do anything else, give yourselves a huge round of applause. But I know a little secret about all of you. There is something that all of you share in common, whether you're in this room or watching half a world away. Whether you've come here from near or from far, all of you share one thing in common. None of you got to this day by yourself. It took the support and encouragement of family, of parents, in some cases of kids, of relatives, of colleagues, of friends, and certainly of faculty and mentors. Take a moment and give them a round of applause. I always marvel on a day like today about the words we use to celebrate the events we attend. You've been working for months and years, you finally complete this, you graduate, and you come to what is in effect a very large and happy meeting that has a name called Commencement. Commencement? Why don't they call it conclusion? It's a word that actually goes back 900 years. It was first used when people who were apprenticing in Europe finished their apprenticeship and discovered that you could wear these weird-looking gowns and put on these funny-looking hats, things that no one would ever wear or be caught out in public any other day of the year, and celebrate what actually quite properly is called commencement. Because more than anything else, it's a transition. It represents for each of you a transition. And I wanted to take a few moments just to reflect on the transition that each of you has to look forward to. The truth is, many of you have a huge advantage over many of the students who are getting degrees this year. Why? Because you've already been in the workforce. You certainly have a huge advantage over me, for example. When I finally finished years of education and got a law degree and showed up at the law firm in Washington, D.C., where I excitedly walked through the front door on the first day of work with a big dream that maybe I'd be put on an airplane and sent off somewhere overseas to negotiate some high-level deal. I that day discovered that most employers don't actually save their most exciting project for the newest person in the office. Something I think many of you have already discovered. In fact, that first month, I did take a big trip. It was down the hall to a file room. My big job was to look at 110,000 pages of documents that had been produced for a lawsuit. And I was asked to use a tape recorder, that's what people still used in the 1980s, and record a summary of each and every page. As I got to document 10,000 and I still had 100,000 to go, I began to ask myself, is this why I got an education? Is this what I paid all that money for that degree? I wonder if I can get my money back. Probably not. But I discovered something in that file room. There was a point in going through those documents when I decided that this probably, or certainly hopefully, was not going to be the most exciting project I would ever pursue. But I would find a way to make it fun. I would find a way to do it well. I would aspire to do it better than anybody had ever done it before, even if the task did seem a little monotonous. And the reality is that 4 years later, I did find myself walking into what's called the Peace Palace in The Hague in Holland to represent a major company in a major arbitration proceeding before this huge tribunal. And as I walked in, I thought to myself, you know, I'm not in the file room anymore. But I also reminded myself that the reason I was then where I was in fact because, in many ways, of the way I had approached that work in the file room. And what I found over the years was that life, in fact, is a series of transitions. There are so many moments when one must step into a new opportunity, not really knowing what one is doing, but plunging forward and moving ahead nonetheless. I remember when I joined Microsoft, it was after I had become a partner in a law firm. I actually felt like I knew what I was doing, and I showed up at this company. And as I said to my wife about a month after I started, I said, you know, I actually felt I was competent at my old job. I wonder how long it's going to take before people realize I have no idea what I'm doing. Not only that, the job required that we move to France, to Paris, a wonderful city, but there was a problem. Every time I left our apartment, everywhere I went, everyone I met spoke French all the time. I did not. It was a problem. The only errand I even felt competent doing on the weekend was taking the car to fill it up with gas because it was a self-service gas station. I didn't have to talk to anybody. And yet, as you have discovered, I think, with the work that you all have done, and as you will discover throughout your lives, whether you're 17 or 69, life is full of these moments where one has the opportunity to step forward and do something new. And almost always the right thing to do is to seize that moment and take the opportunity to meet that challenge. But as you go forward, I hope you'll think about one other thing as well. Life is most rewarding when it's about more than yourself. And there's something else that all of you in this room or watching around the world share in common today. You have done something that is extraordinarily special when you look at the challenges that we face as a country. We live, we all know, in an increasingly competitive world. It means that we all throughout our lives are going to have to continue to get smarter and learn new things. And yet this is a challenge that we are having a hard time addressing as a country. There are 37 million adults in the United States who have some college education, but not a degree. And even that only begins to tell the story. Over the last year, there's been a lot of talk about the problems that we have when we graduate so many college students with so much debt. It is a problem, but we're missing an incredibly important thing. It is not the biggest problem we face. The biggest problem we face as a country is that we have so many people who are dropping out of college with so much debt. That is a far more serious challenge. And if you look across the country today, if you look at our community colleges, only a third of the students who start a 2-year degree program get that degree in 3 years. If you look at our 4-year universities, only 50% of the students who start a 4-year degree program get that degree in 6 years. More and more are dropping out. What happened? Well, it turns out the world changed. It turns out the country changed. As you all know, more and more we have a more diverse country with more people who are going to school and raising a family and working all at the same time. There is only one way we will meet this challenge as a country, and that's for education to change. And when it comes to the changes that we need in education, you all are this country's new role models. And I hope you'll think a little bit about that too. Because the truth is, we need WGU to grow. And we need other institutions like it to grow. And we need other institutions to learn from what WGU has already learned. But it's more than that. As the years go by, you'll meet people, you'll work with people, you'll befriend people. You'll get to know many of these 37 million people. And you'll have the opportunity to lend them a hand. You'll have the opportunity to be a role model for them. You'll have an opportunity to be a mentor for them. And more than anything else, you'll have the opportunity to show to them that what they have the opportunity to go do is what you have already done. And there are few things as powerful in life as a powerful role model from somebody who is a good colleague and friend. So as you come here today, as you watch this from somewhere else, as you go to the future, I hope in conclusion you'll do three things. First, enjoy today. It is a wonderful day, and it is a magical moment, and it is a day to enjoy and celebrate. Second, think about the times of transition and pursue your own personal opportunity for success. Be creative in the future in the same way that you've been creative and taken the steps that have gotten you here today. And finally, think about more than yourself. Adopt a cause, be an advocate, but more than anything else, use what you have learned. Be a model for others, be a friend, and show the rest of the country that they too can do what you have done today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.